Yeah, it really is. And I guess sometimes too, I think when I do write and when I cast, I do honestly, I'll say, well, I think this person got a lot of followers right here, and I see them out there. So I'll be like, okay, I'm going to put you in my movie. I'm going to write a part because right now I know that I want my movie to be seen. And I see that you're a person who likes to be seen. So you're going to be in my movie. I'm going to make sure I can write a part. And that plays big for me. Like I was saying, I just finished and Running Backwards Part 2 is ready to go to the theater. It's sold out. That's my cast. My cast sold it out. You know, because I got all the people in my cast that they got people that want to see them and they want to be seen. So that's what's going to open me up to do a whole nother day where other people now, I can say to the public, come and see it. And they still going to put people out there because I got people in there that wants to be seen. They want people to see how well they are doing. And I think that really helps with marketing, you know, and that's major for me.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the subject of marketing films. I know, Donna, you kind of led us that way. What do we do to market, or what have been some struggles marketing or successes marketing?
Yeah. Well, I would say marketing, I think, as a creative, what I've ran into is that a lot of filmmakers that I know, they don't really do a lot of marketing. So it's been getting the project done and then releasing the project. But understanding filmmaking, and film is a product. So it's like any other business, you have to market. And I think that's the piece that we sometimes drop the ball on. And as you were saying before, you know, you work with people and you have to, you rely on your people to promote it, and not just when the release or the red carpet, but after it, because there's not only a build up to the release, but after the release, what do we do after that? So I think just kind of understanding that.
Shameless plug.
Let's go.
Release.
Yeah.
1966 down on you.
See, that's marketing. That's what's marketing right
Yes.
there. But yeah. So I just think, like I said, we have to, as filmmakers, you know, put the work into the marketing piece as well. I mean, marketing, distribution. You look at the bigger films that we see, you know, the marketing is crazy. I mean, all the intricate things you need to do to market is essential for it.
Just like you have a budget for that film, you need a budget for marketing.
Yeah.
Bottom line and point blank. You need to market before it comes. You need to market while you all are shooting, and when it's done, you need to have marketing that moves it along. Because at the end of the day, think about all the money, all the time we're spending on these projects. They're now on Tubi and they're living, and guess what? Who's going to watch them?
Right.
How do we know to still watch them and to keep up with them? Having social media platforms, I would say allocated specifically for your movie, for your part. And not just thinking about the movie itself, but what is the mission behind the story? What are you talking about? For me, any movie that I work with, or anytime I'm working with someone, I'm always telling them, you know, what is the why? Why did you write this film? Where's the writer at? Bringing those things out to the forefront, because we are all, you know, this is the culture. When we're just putting our lives and our stories and things that we see, and we're contributing it back to society. So we have to do our part with that, and making sure we have a budget so that way grandma knows and auntie knows, but people across the other parts of the world are familiar with our stories too. I just think that that's the biggest thing that I see here. Like you said, Cincinnati has a lot of talent, but we don't go above and beyond when it comes to making sure others know about what's happening here.
Exactly.
And I think trying to think more of like a film entrepreneur, thinking of it in a way of, and I tell people, this is my unpopular opinion, I don't make like websites for individual movies. I don't make Instagrams for individual movies, because what is the shelf life of those followers and those connections? So let's say I make a feature film and we end up getting 600-700 followers over the course of a year of us promoting on that content page. Then the movie does a showcase, we premiere it, we put it on YouTube or Tubi. Then what am I doing with those 600-700 people? How am I tapping into them? So I like to promote everything on one page from my production company and say follow and hear and see what we have going on. So that if 600 people come from one movie, then hopefully they'll stay for the next movie.
Right.
And then we're building, and we can continue to tap into that small base that continues to want more content from us.
Correct.
And so right now for me, I'm actually trying to transition from marketing just my movies to marketing myself. And I started a YouTube channel where I'm just kind of like this, talking about stories behind the set with like actors and producers and sharing knowledge from festivals, because I realized like if I put my movie on Tubi or on Freeview, on Amazon, and I can bring followers with me, that's dollars I can bring to my movie, because I'm always marketing, I'm always putting content, I'm always editing, I'm taking snippets from behind the scenes of my movies. Every time that we are filming something, I have a BTS camera rolling so that we can bring people along the journey and not just wait until the finished movie's out and be like, hey, go watch my movie. But you ain't seen nothing else about the movie. You don't know nothing about the actors, you don't know nothing about the script, you don't know nothing about the why you were saying. So I try to think from beginning to the end of like, how are we going to market this, from audition stages to casting announcements to everything, to get people just hooked, even if the smallest thing brings them in. If they stay to the end, then you got someone that's going to be an advocate for your film.
Exactly, absolutely. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that is.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything on marketing?
He hit that.
You hit it. Yeah, you really hit it.
Yeah, a
That's
lot of thought put into that. Let's go into, I think Ebony J kind of queued us up for that. Why we write or film what we film. And Cameron, I know you definitely have a kind of mission statement for your company, why you choose or what you put into your films. You talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that. I was just thinking on the way over here, like, I need to update this, but it's not really. It's more so just a calling. I would say here in C Productions, we're a faith-based production company where we want others to hear and see the truth of God and connect with God in a real way. And I think a lot of times people see Christian movies as cheesy and fake and unrealistic. And so I was like, no, I want to make something that's, really gets into the grittiness of the human experience and how God can meet you wherever you are. And that like nobody is too far from God's grace to be saved. And so our projects deal with that, but also, as a black man who loves movies and doesn't see a lot of positive black, characters, like I'm always thinking too of like, how do my movies portray black people? What do they have to say about the black family? What do they have to say about black dynamics? What do they have to say about culture? So for me, I always check two boxes. Okay, what does this have to say about God? And what does this have to say about black people? And if I can't answer that in the script, then I don't make it.
I know
there's
that's right.
a few movies where I was like, this is funny, this is cute, it probably sell well, but there really isn't nothing in there that has anything to do with God, and it would just be a funny movie. So that it's kind of like challenging in some ways, but also freeing, because I know exactly the type of audience I want to build into.
Right. I'm the same way, because I won't write anything that's gonna go against God or blasphemy. I'm like, no, I don't need to put that in there, because without him, none of this would be possible. And I'm like very respectful on that end. I know with my movies, I like to write movies about things that that's happening in the world. One thing that I would say about Running Backwards Part 1, it's about sex trafficking, but it's not about your typical where you have like these fast little girls out there, and they get picked up. It's about three best friends where one of them is online talking to a guy, and he lures her in, and he goes through the whole process of dating her. And then he's like, well, do you have some friends that you can bring? And then I have some friends. And it's innocent. They actually court them for a moment. And then that's when it takes place. And I'm like, you have to realize that this happens to family where they have both family. They have their mom and their dad. This happens in homes where the parents have good job, good neighborhoods. Because these predators, they prey on their victims. They don't care where you come from or who you are. So I wanted people to be aware, like you have to educate your children so they'll know that it's out here. Because just as innocent as her thinking that this normal boy was a regular high school boy who got into her Instagram and was her DM and was like, hey, and started dating her, this was a nightmare that it turned out to be, So I wanted people to see that it's real out here, and we need to be aware. And if you have someone in your family or friends like that, you got to help them. You got to be aware of these signs and not just ignore it, you know, because it's there. And sometimes they're showing you, you know. And in my other movie, it just shows that how family, as we all know, can turn on each other. You know, just because you're family and blood and grew up in the same household don't mean that you're for each other. So I just try to write my movies about things that happen in real life. Awareness, thank you, right there. And that's exactly how I try to focus my movies.
Mine is more so in hope, because I feel like we all have stories. I really like to find those stories that are bad. My story is bad. People wouldn't believe the background. So that's really what I'm selling. I like to write from that point. We have a lot of kids that are experiencing so many different things, and they need to see people like you and me going the same things that they went through, and knowing that there's hope on the other side, that there's a way out. So I would say that that's where my writing really kind of comes from.
Yes.
As for me, like mine is similar to what Cam said, because if you look at those Arabian films, the Muslims, if you watch their films, like films from Turkey, from Saudi and all that, you could see they're passionate about making films about Islam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, but when we see ourselves Christians, we just want to make anything.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I just want to make films that will make you think, that will question you. Like, sorry, if you watch my film, The Clap, it's mainly about abortion, but it's also talking about America. It's also talking about immigrants. It's also talking about love. And like there's a scene where my wife Angelis and Danette were sitting around a river, and Danette is telling her, you know, your visa is fake. And she's like, really? She said, yes. And then she takes 2 coins from her purse and be like, look at the older coin and look at the newer coin. The older coin has "In God We Trust," and the face on the coin is looking at "In God We Trust." But in the newer coin, the "In God We Trust" is behind the face. And this is trying to tell you America has turned their back on God.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And this is a scene in my film. So I want to preach the word of God, but I don't want it to be like,
Preachy.
I put you in church.
Right.
Exactly.
So I put people in a journey where you forget yourself, you think you're watching a film, and then you just meet God in my film.
I love that. Yeah.
So that's how I tell my stories. I just want people to know, and again, I want people to know that Black people can do something.